Steve, when you guys reported your financials last night, you indicated that you have been contacted by the SEC regarding these allegations that were raised by Hindenburg Research last week. And let's get to the main question that was raised by Hindenburg Research. They say that you are misleading investors. Have you been misleading investors?
Hindenburg first put out a report last way. They talked about how Lordstown has some serious issues with the truth. And I found it gut-wrenching because I had pressed Steve Burns when he was on the show, the CEO of Lordstown. I had pressed him on Mad Money about how serious the orders were for the company. And he said they're very serious. He had signed letters from CEOs. He could have easily said, look, we never know what's going to happen with orders, which is fine. You could have said that. He did not say that. I listened and I just said, that is someone that is hard for me to trust.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So today, folks, we are watching another train wreck in slow motion. This time, Lordstown Motors. Wait, did I say that right? Oh, Lordstown Motors. Sorry for that slip of the tongue. It happens sometimes. In this video, we're going to watch Lordstown Motors CEO Steve Burns dig himself into a rather deep hole, much like our good friend Trevor Milton, ex-Nikola Motor Corporation, did many months earlier when he was appearing in the mainstream finance media with, in my opinion, I don't have evidence of this, but in my opinion, the sole goal of pumping up the price of Nikola stock by luring in extremely dopey retail investors. Are we seeing Nikola Motors Part 2? Well, I'll let you guys be the judge. So, let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Let's bring in Steve Burns, who is the CEO of Lordstown Motors, joining us from the company's plant in Lordstown, Ohio. Steve, when you guys reported your financials last night, you indicated that you have been contacted by the SEC regarding these allegations that were raised by Hindenburg Research last week. And let's get to the main question that was raised by Hindenburg Research. They say that you are misleading investors. Have you been misleading investors?
Hey, Phil, how you doing? I really can't address, obviously, the specifics of any SEC inquiry.
Ooh, that 3-letter acronym, SEC, suck Elon's cock. Oh, wait, sorry, my mistake. I keep making mistakes in this video. Lordstown Motors and then the SEC acronym. My bad, sorry, Elon's tweet just stuck in my head. The Securities and Exchange Commission inquiring, is that code word for investigating Lordstown Motors? Now, again, I don't know, but doesn't sound very good, does it? Of course, Steve can't actually comment on this. I get it, totally fine there. He's not dodging the question. He can't. I totally understand here. But the fact is that the SEC is sniffing around. Not good. Remember what happened with Trevor Milton? And then the Hindenburg short-selling research report? Then the SEC and the Department of Justice investigate Trevor Milton. Next minute, the guy voluntarily leaves the company. Yeah, so I'm not saying this is going in the same direction. All I'm saying is the SEC sniffing around is really fucking bad, especially if you're an EV SPAC with no products, no revenue, no nothing at all, period. And you're already being investigated by the SEC. This is not great.
But I think I can talk to you about our sales, about our product. We have been really out front with our ramp to production, right? We're coming to market in September. Behind me, you see the betas being built. And so we've used all that to test with fleets, right? We sell to fleets. We're selling a pickup truck, the first electric pickup truck to fleets. So, to find out, would fleets buy an electric pickup truck? What price would they pay? Would they buy it from a new OEM like us? What sort of warranty they're charging? We've gone out and queried fleets and people that talk to fleets, and we have got an unbelievable reception. So demand for a 75 mile per gallon pickup truck, very robust, as you would think. We're at the point where we just must deliver the truck, and we think everything will be great.
Now, maybe I'm reading into the tea leaves a little too much here, so take this with a gigantic grain of salt. But my impression there, I kind of get the feeling, unscientific I know, but that is all I have to go on, Kind of get the feeling there that Steve's like telling himself almost like, it's going to be fine, everything's going to be fine, it's fine, everything's fine, yeah. As he sort of said there, you know, we've just got to get this to production, then everything will be and then he thinks, oh, should I say fine? No, fine's a bad word. Great. Let's say great. Yeah, everything will be great.
We're at the point where we just must deliver the truck, and we think everything will be great.
Steve, but let's be clear here. The way that you have characterized your pre-orders or reservations in the past,
yeah.
I mean, you called these on CNBC serious orders. Now, people would look at this and say, if you have a company that's not putting down a deposit, that doesn't have a fleet, but
right.
basically are collecting letters of interest, are those truly serious orders?
Well, no.
Whoa. Back it up. Do you guys catch that? The first two words out of Steve's mouth after Phil LeBeau asked the question, are these serious orders, are, well, no. Let's watch that again. Listen carefully.
Are those truly serious orders?
Well, no, we've always been very clear, right? These are just what they're intended to be, right? These are non-binding letter intents. They're called pre-orders out in the kind of real world. So always classified them for that, and we have a lot of those pre-orders. I think, we have pre-orders directly from fleets. We have pre-orders from people that sell to fleets because that's the way fleets buy. Fleets don't buy in general, they don't buy like consumers buy. They buy through intermediaries. And so all we've done is gone out, gauge interest.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the point in the interview where Steve Burns, in my eyes, lost the last shreds, the final skerricks of credibility. At first glance, this seems entirely credible. You want to gauge demand for your future product, allow people to reserve one, no obligation, no money down, fully cancelable, great way to test demand. Except here's the problem. At least according to Hindenburg Research, Lordstown Motors paid $30 to $50 for many of those reservations. Now, I asked the question, if you were genuinely attempting to gauge demand for your future product, would you pay people to put down a non-binding reservation for that product? No, really. Let's ask the question here. If you wanted to gauge demand for your product, would it be better? Would it be a more accurate way of gauging demand by allowing people to make a non-binding reservation versus paying them to make one? Just asking the question here. In my opinion, the reason that these reservations were paid weren't actually to gauge demand, but were to inflate their reservation numbers to lure in extremely dopey investors.
Because you got a tool to build something like this in an automated fashion. We're going to build one of these every 6 minutes. We kind of have to know how to tool, and you got to know about a year in front of your building. So that's what everybody uses pre-orders for. They are always, by definition, non-binding, no money down, cancelable. I mean, that's just that's the nature of EV startups trying to gauge interest.
I understand that, Steve, but some people would look at this and say, look, you were far more aggressive in characterizing those pre-orders as true commitments, that you have company XYZ that has said, yeah, sign us up for 5,000 or 6,000. Do you regret the way you characterize those reservations?
Well, Phil, all I can, I don't want to get into the specifics. All I can tell you is demand is robust. We've never said we had orders. We don't have a product yet. By definition, we can't have orders, right? So when you're early and you're years away from a product, in this case, 1 year, and now we're down to 6 months. So now that we have the betas, we are starting to be able to shore some of that up. But
is it just me, or does Steve seem a little uncomfortable?
The pre-orders did exactly what they were supposed to do, gauge interest. Nobody knew if fleets would buy an electric pickup truck, right? It was completely unknown science, no data around it. So we queried them. We have very robust interest, and that's just what they are. They're letters of interest. You can't do any more of that in this stage. So I don't think anybody thought that we had actual orders, right? That's just not the nature of this business.
Ooh, yeah, this is going to end very poorly for Steve. See, here's why. He's said things in the past that contradict what he has just said. He's making a statement today on CNBS. Very dangerous move, Steve. The SEC is sniffing around. This is probably going to end up in part of their case, if they are actually investigating you, that is. Here's a problem. You see, Steve just said that he believes that nobody actually thought they were real orders, effectively. But yet here's what Steve's been saying in the media over the last few months.
We've already sold So normally you do not start the sales process until today, when you can drive the vehicle on the stage and people can see it, get a feel for it, drive it, understands its presence, its use case. But we didn't have that luxury. We had to know a little early, before we bought this or before we got too deep into this, would fleets buy an electric pickup truck from a new unknown startup OEM, right? So we started pre-selling. And I think we have our whole year, our first year of production already pre-sold. We got 27,000 orders. We got customers really, really wanting the truck. Well, we sell to commercial fleets. That's our first customer. And like you said, we've already got 50,000 pre-orders.
And it seems as if some of these orders, the 50,000, are from Solid, a Duke Energy, a First Energy. These people are not going to be walking away. They are committed.
Right. Yeah. All of them. You know, when you order, I think our average order size is about 500 trucks at a time. And, you know, as most of them are signed by the CEOs of these large firms. And, you know, bringing in 500 electric vehicles into your fleet's not trivial. So you got to plan all the charging and everything. So it's very serious orders. And we have pre-sold 100,000 of these to various fleets across America. So really a big appetite. You've got a fleet that's been using it.
I rest my case.
Steve, you are beginning crash test, validation tests for your beta models that'll begin either this month or very shortly. Can you make production by the end of September?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, right? There's been a lot of EV startups, right? And none of them have gotten this far, except, you know, this one small company in California that starts with a T. But I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to look like a pickup truck back here. We're 8 days away from that rolling off the line. And the complexity that it takes to build a modern day automobile, the tooling that it takes, the factory that it takes, the engineering that it takes, the validation that it takes, the durability testing, all the regulatory around it, it's got to be one of the hardest things to do, and we are right on the cusp of it.
One of those core things that you need to still do and validate and show that you can produce in mass scale are the hub motors for the endurance pickup truck. I think you said last night during the conference call, you've done about 20,000 miles of road testing. You've got to do a lot more, would you agree, in order to say, yeah, we are confident that these hub motors we're going to build will have the capability and the durability to last?
Man, this just gets better and better, right? So they have 20,000 miles of real-world data. That's it on the Lordstown Endurance pickup truck. 20,000 miles. And for those of you that don't know, in the Hindenburg Research report, this is just so... you won't even believe this. It's just amazing. Within 10 minutes of their very first prototype truck doing public testing on a public road, within 10 minutes, the vehicle was fully engulfed in flames. 911 was called. Emergency services had to come out, and an empty, burnt shell of a vehicle remained.
911.
Yes, we were driving, and our car was on fire.
Your car's on fire?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, what kind of vehicle is it? What color?
It's an LLC, Lordstown Motors electric vehicle.
Okay, what kind of vehicle is it, though, sir? What's the brand?
Endurance.
Do you see flames coming from the vehicle?
Yes.
Now, I'm not hating on the company, fires happen, but the whole point of doing testing is to find out stuff like this. The very first time they put a truck on roads, it self-immolates. Just can't handle it. I'm done. I'm just going to kill myself, and blows up. Now, let's think about this for a moment. They're aiming to be in production in 6 months, in September. They've got 20,000 miles of real-world data. And within those 20,000 miles of real-world data, they've already had one of their trucks spontaneously combust, burst into flames, and incinerate itself. You really think that they're going to be at volume production in September? I don't. Not even close. In fact, I'm going to put it on the record now. There's no fucking way Lordstown Motors will be producing their pickup truck for customers in September, unless they're willing to produce vehicles that are super unsafe.
Yeah, I mean, just for some of your viewers that don't know what a hub motor is, you know, a hub motor, this vehicle only has 4 moving parts. It's the simplest vehicle ever conceived, 4 moving parts in a drivetrain. Those are the motors that are actually in the wheels. So it's a very new concept. It's been used for a long time with electric bikes and scooters, and we've upgraded that up to big enough for and tough enough for an electric pickup truck. So we've done 200,000 miles on other vehicles before this one was ready. The 20,000 is just because we've had a few of these alphas already and we put them out. But we're building 57 of these betas, and they will go through the exact same durability that every modern day pickup truck goes to before it goes out in the field. Automotive is very good at shaking things loose and determining if these are going to be reliable on the road. So we will go through that exact same test.
Okay, so Lordstown Motors are using unproven technology, the reliability of which we do not know. It's been used in scooters before, e-bikes, those kind of things. Lordstown claim that they've scaled this technology up now that it's suitable for pickup trucks. For the first time in the world, this technology is now scaled to a pickup truck. Probably a lot of testing and validation required, right? What if the technology doesn't work? What if these motors are unreliable? Lordstown is fucked. They are 6 months away from starting volume production on pickup trucks using unproven and untested, 200,000 total miles, 20,000 on this particular version of the vehicle. In my opinion, there's no testing being done. They need millions upon millions upon millions of miles of real world data. They haven't even done this. They've got unproven technology that they're ramping to volume production on a brand new product. And if it doesn't work, if it's unreliable, they are fucked.
Steve Burns, the CEO of Lordstown Motors, joining us from the company's plant in Lordstown, Ohio. Steve, thank you very much for coming on today, talking with us. Guys, as I send it back to you, I should point out that we reached out, and I had a conversation this morning with Nathan Anderson, who is the person with Hindenburg Research, who is leading the short selling and these accusations against Lordstown Motors. I asked him, what do you think about the call last night and what they've had to say so far? His answer, I find it disappointing. That's what he told me.
By the way, big shout out to Nate Anderson, doing some fantastic research over there at Hindenburg. Now we're going to hear Jim Cramer's thoughts on this whole saga.
Jim, Lordstown is facing an SEC inquiry for allegedly misleading investors. And your colleague on CNBC this morning, Phil LeBeau, did interview CEO Steve Burns, which we'll get to in just a moment. But I just want to get your first take on what to make of the Lordstown news.
Well, Nate Anderson, Hindenburg, first put out a report when I was away. They talked about how Lordstown has some serious issues with the truth. And I found it gut-wrenching because I had pressed Steve Burns when he was on the show, the CEO of Lordstown. I had pressed him on Mad Money about how serious the orders were for the company. And he said they're very serious. He had signed letters from CEOs. He could have easily said, look, we never know what's going to happen with orders, which is fine. You could have said that. He did not say that. Well, this morning, Phil LeBeau, who's an amazing reporter, asked him point blank. And Burns said, I never said that they were serious. I don't know where you got that. So then we ran the tape of when Burns said it to me on Mad Money. So to me, I felt it was like the prosecution rests. You don't even need to have a discussion. You just listen to what he said to Phil. You listen to what he said to me. Case closed. You decide. I listened and I just said, that is someone that is hard for me to trust. And that's where I come out.
Jim Cramer has hit the nail on the head here. It's very difficult to trust somebody who doesn't give you good reason to trust them. For example, touting in the media, 100,000 pre-orders, la 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 la, next minute. Well, nobody thinks they're actually real orders. I'm going to tell you guys a story about trust. Many years ago, when I was still somebody else's bitch, aka I had a job, a colleague joined the company I was working at. On her very first day, I overheard her lying to customers, to clients on the phone, literally lying. I'm thinking to myself, wow, what a psycho. Like day one, she's already lying to customers. Like, what's wrong with this person? Just tell the truth. I also witnessed her lying directly to our boss within a couple of days as well. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, probably can't trust this woman too much. Let's see. A few days into the very first week, after a lunch where she had about 12 too many wines by the smell of her breath, just saying, I'm sorry, I hope my colleagues aren't watching this. They'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyway, I think in an effort for her to build rapport and gain some trust with me, she decided to have a private conversation and, share a few secrets. That's a great way to build a friendship and a connection, right? Share some secrets. So what does she do? First of all, she reveals a bunch of confidential information about the business and the company that I should not know, that my boss would be extremely displeased that she'd shared with anybody, like seriously, like not smart things to share. She shares that with me and I'm thinking, wow, dude, I'm not trusting this bitch as far as I can throw her. But of course I don't say anything. Then she continues on and shares a few secrets that have been revealed by my colleagues that she also shouldn't be sharing with me. By this stage, my mind was well and truly made up. This woman had revealed her personality, her values, her integrity, her honesty or lack thereof, and there was no changing my mind. The same can be said of CEOs or anyone else within these companies who make these audacious claims or go out into the media and spruik something, prop something up, hey, we've got lots of pre-orders, but next minute when they get probed and asked, oh, well, no one actually thought they were real orders. This is one of those same kind of tells, where you can extrapolate and infer a huge amount about that person's character, their integrity, and their future honesty. If somebody lies, misleads, or deceives, even slightly, okay, they leave out a few key details that are kind of important, etc., that is somebody you can't trust as far as you can fucking throw them.
The quote that really stood out for me from Burns himself was, "I don't think anybody thought we had actual orders." To say that on television.
I know. I mean, he point blank said the opposite to me. He said to me, our average order size is 500 trucks at a time, and most of them are signed by the CEOs of these large firms. Now, is that not saying we have serious orders? So in other words, I'm asking the order serious. Give me any, make me feel better about how serious the orders are. Well, how about if you said, well, look, first of all, our average order size is 500 trucks at a time. And then I would also tell you that most of them are signed by the CEOs of these large firms. That's how serious I am. Well, that's the evidence. That's the core evidence. I mean, if we had to do like, stock market, CSI, well, there you go. I
like that idea.
Stock market SVU.
Oh,
I'm with Jim Cramer here. I find it exceedingly difficult to trust Lordstown Motors or Steve Burns after these clear omissions of detail. Now, some of you may be thinking, Stephen, it's pretty harsh to judge somebody. I mean, maybe he left out a few details, maybe he exaggerated a little bit, maybe didn't quite give the full picture. It's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. I do not know how to say this nicely or gently, so you guys may just want to stop watching the video now if that's where your thinking is, but you probably do need to hear this, so feel free to stay tuned. You, sir or madam, have something wrong with your cognitive faculties and your ability to infer somebody's character based on evidence before your very eyes, okay? Let me explain. If you are the CEO of a publicly traded company or any company, and you're making statements about your company, statements that will be heard by potential or existing investors, you need to be damn fucking sure that what you are saying is the truth and the whole truth. If not, there's the potential for people to make investment decisions, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars invested into your company, your idea, etc., based on what you have told them and what you have not told them. This is absolutely unacceptable. This isn't your wife asking if she looks fat in this dress. Oh, and by the way, guys, if your girlfriend, wife, partner, etc. ever does ask one of those questions, do I look fat in these jeans, etc., the correct response is always, no, honey, you don't look fat in those jeans. You look fat in everything. This is investors needing to know facts about your company to make investment decisions. If you lie, mislead, deceive, or even leave out tiny little details, well, in short, you are a lying piece of shit. Now again, I don't judge people as harshly outside the business world when people aren't prone to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars their entire life savings believing your horse shit. But when you're talking about investors, when you're talking about the stock market, when you're talking about publicly traded companies, the claims that you are making about your companies, your orders, your technology must be spot fucking on. Otherwise, the SEC is going to be sniffing around your ass too. And with that said, I'd like to ask the audience a question. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Lordstown Motors will ever actually reach volume production of their endurance pickup truck? Yes or no? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.